This is Neo, and according to its creators, it's going to transform your home and give back the most precious thing to all humans, time. But there's a huge problem, and it's staring right at you, literally, but we'll get to that. In this video, we're going to break down what is Neo and what does it do? Who's really behind Neo? How safe is it really? Why the internet is already fighting about it? What this might mean for the future of home robots? I'm your host, Caleb Onowindi, and this video was created by Sumsub, a leading full-cycle verification platform. Sumsub's work focuses on identity verification, fraud prevention, and risk assessment, a useful lens for examining technologies like Neo, which bring new questions about trust and safety in everyday life. Part 1. What is Neo? So first things first, what exactly is Neo? Starting at $20,000 for a one-time purchase, or a monthly subscription of $500 per month. Neo stands at 5 feet 6 inches tall. While it's the height of an average human, it weighs only 66 pounds, meaning that unlike a vending machine, if it falls on you, it's unlikely to seriously injure you. It has rubber hands, a fabric interior, a soft shell, and a mouthless face. It's less like the Boston Dynamics metal demon dog, and more like a teddy bear-like robot that connects to your Wi-Fi and can talk back to you. Yeah, it talks. Using a large language model, you can command it to tidy the living room or fold the laundry, and you'll get a friendly confirmation, or even a joke. The hands are impressive. It has multiple joints for picking up delicate things, folding clothes, and carrying objects. Not industrial clamps with superhuman strength, but actual human dexterity. To understand why Neo looks the way it does, you have to look at the graveyard of home robots that came before it. For the last decade, we've essentially had two types of robots, neither of which belonged to your kitchen. On one side, you had the social robots, like Jibbo or Pepper. These were essentially iPads on wheels. They could tell you the weather or dance, but they couldn't physically do anything. They failed because they were expensive toys that couldn't fold laundry or load a dishwasher. On the other side, you have the industrial humanoids, things like Atlas from Boston Dynamics, or the early versions of Tesla's Optimus. These are engineering marvels, but they're built for factories and not families. They're heavy, rigid, and often powered by hydraulics or high-stiffness electric actuators. If an industrial robot malfunctions, it might punch a hole in the drywall, or even punch a hole in you. They are stiff machines moving through a soft world. Neo is attempting to be the Goldilocks solution. It solves the social robot problem by actually having hands to do chores, and it solves the industrial robot problem by ditching the rigid metal skeleton. Instead of hydraulics, Neo uses a bio-inspired design. It's built on a system of tendon drives that mimic human muscle and connective tissue. This is a critical distinction. Most robots are puppets on strings made of steel. Neo is trying to be a puppet on strings made of rope. It creates a compliance in the movement, meaning if it bumps into a child, it creates a soft collision rather than a hard impact. But Neo has a long way to go before it becomes the perfect home companion. It needs to be able to learn and adapt much quicker than it does. And it needs to become the closest thing to being a human without actually being a human. I'm not talking as far as Oscar, a modular body that blends robotics with clickable human cells. Although it could be argued that it's the missing piece to speed up robotic developments, it's also hugely ethically questionable. So what can Neo do right now? In demos, we see Neo slowly folding laundry, carefully unloading dishwashers, again, slowly, and wiping counters at a snail's pace. This is because Neo uses Redwood AI, which gathers data while working and improves through supervised training. Redwood lets Neo understand natural language, see through fisheye cameras, and coordinate its whole body to walk, bend, and manipulate objects. When you say, "Neo, fold my shirt," it processes every aspect and methodically completes the task like a watchmaker. Except instead of a watch, it's a t-shirt. And instead of human, it's AI, eventually. Here's the catch. In those demos, nearly everything Neo does is controlled by an engineer in the next room who's wearing a VR headset. This isn't a secret. It's a feature called Expert Mode. Expert Mode is literally remote housework. Although the aim is to be autonomous, you'll need to let someone remotely control it to finish the jobs. Based on marketing videos, you're paying for a stranger to clean your house via a walking, talking, hand-having machine. Situations like this, where humans operate devices remotely inside private homes, raise the same identity, permission, and risk questions that companies like Sumsub work with across industries. Because once someone can control a robot inside your living room, it's not just about what the robot can do, but exactly who has access and how are their actions being tracked. There's no timeline for Neo's independence, but its creators claim these experts are training Neo on complicated tasks. Neo will learn from all the data recorded in their sensors, cameras, images, and commands. All that data is fed into a neural network, advancing their product for you and every other user. To speed up this training process, its creators has shown off their world model. This is a simulated reality that Neo can utilize to become more responsive in our real world. Now, they're not training Neo to do kung fu, despite the creators admittedly using references from the Matrix in the video, but they're training this for strictly household chores. Now, I know some of you are thinking, isn't this like the plot of iRobot? A humanoid robot that's constantly updating and sometimes acting like a human? I mean, who's making this thing? Skynet? Well, not exactly. Part 2. Who is really behind Neo? The company behind Neo is called 1X Technologies. And while that might not ring a bell, the money backing them definitely will. Founded in Norway in 2014, Robotics started making safe humanoid actuators, basically robot muscles that won't accidentally crush your hand. Their robotic limbs let them reach out and create fully functioning robots. This led to Eve, an industrial robot, not the one from RoboCop, but a metal moorcop on wheels with an LCD face. Then things got interesting. They rebranded as 1X Technologies, opened Silicon Valley offices, and pivoted to androids at commercial scale. Humanoid robots working alongside and for us, including in our homes. The money is serious. OpenAI's startup fund dropped $23.5 million. Then Equity Ventures and Tiger Global joined to total $125 million, just to bring these humanoids to market. 1X is now a robotics leader, with tech's biggest names betting that we'll have their robots in our homes very soon. Reports suggest that they're seeking $1 billion of funding at a $10 billion valuation. That's their mission: safety, abundance, and addressing labor shortages. But most tech companies' promises and delivery are often two different things. Part 3. How safe is Neo? Let's start with 1X's safety pitch. The soft padding isn't just for show. Its enclosed joints, lower impact tendon drives, and machine washable cloth outfit all reduce the risk of injury. Even if something went wrong, you could probably just push it over or outlast its 4-hour battery. But let's look closer at those specifics, because the numbers reveal a lot about 1X's strategy. Neo weighs only 66 pounds. For context, Tesla's Optimus weighs close to 125 pounds. And older hydraulic robots weigh significantly more. Yet despite being the weight of a golden retriever, Neo can reportedly lift 154 pounds. That's a strength to weight ratio that's frankly superhuman. This is achieved through its tendon-driven actuators, which can redirect force efficiently despite the robot's low weight. But the safety feature that 1X engineers are most proud of is something called passivity. In traditional robotics, if the power cuts out or a computer crashes, the robot might freeze in a rigid pose or collapse unpredictably. Because Neo is tendon-driven, if you cut out the power, it goes limp, just like a human who passes out. It sounds grim, but from a safety perspective, a limb ragdoll is much safer to have falling in your kitchen than a 100-pound statue locking its joints. And then there's the noise. If you've ever heard a Boston Dynamics robot, it sounds like a lawnmower. Industrial robots need cooling fans and whine with gear noises. Because Neo uses a low gear ratio transmission and those soft materials, 1X claims it operates at around 22 decibels. That is quieter than a library whisper. And while that's great for your nap time, the fact that you can't hear it coming down the hall adds another layer to the creepy factor. So those are the hardware restrictions, but 1X has software restrictions as well. No sharp objects, no stoves, no open flames, at least initially. Whilst the hands are waterproof, the body is not. Videos show Neo watering plants and walking dogs outside, but 1X says we should avoid doing that at this stage. About expert mode, which relies on the in-home call center employee, 1X says teleoperators are vetted, activity is logged, and initial indicators show when someone's inside Neo. You can define no-go zones like bedrooms or dungeons, but those won't get cleaned up. Neo can blur out your body. 1X even uses a Black Mirror-style comparison when describing how Neo can blur out humans in its field of view. While these safety measures are nice, if inefficient, Is trusting this robot easier than trusting an actual human? Let us know in the comments. Neo isn't for everyone initially. 1X is vetting first customers for what's essentially a long-term field test. Early reviewers speculate that households with children, pets, or lots of activity may face additional caution or vetting, since 1X advises close supervision around kids and animals. Privacy experts are alarmed. This is a moving camera and microphone with hands inside your home, connected to remote workers, streaming a large amount of in-home video and sensor data for training purposes. While Neo can blur out humans, can it blur out your credit card on the counter? Even vetted operators could have hidden motivations. 1X claims that they won't sell your data to third parties for now. That can change instantly. If Instagram ads feel invasive, wait until Neo reports how long you stare into the fridge for, or they report your average time spent in the bathroom. No device connected to the internet is completely immune to hacking. Despite Neo's security features like voice and facial recognition, AI can spoof these systems. There's no amount of security protocols that could make Neo hack-proof. One of the most highlighted things it can do autonomously is open doors, and that's something that 1X is very proud of. But this means a hacker wouldn't need VR to let intruders in. If you're spending $20,000 on a robot, you probably have other valuables that are worth stealing. They wouldn't even need Neo to open doors when they could just steal your data instead. Think conversations, sleep schedules, routines, floor plans, where you keep your valuables, all compromised with keystrokes. With a full VR rig, a lot becomes theoretically possible. Neo's restrictions on dangerous materials are software-based and not hardware-based. So, in extreme hypothetical scenarios, someone overriding those limits could direct it to handle objects that it should not handle. Neo doesn't need hackers to cause damage. Dropped glasses or a knocked vase or a simple bug could harm users. It's not just privacy experts paying attention. The internet has already chosen sides. Part 4. Why is the internet fighting over it? If you scroll through tech Twitter, YouTube, or Reddit, you'll see lots of doubt. Even the mainstream media isn't sure Neo will catch on. Joanna Stern from the Wall Street Journal got to live with Neo and watch it do the advertised tasks, such as loading the dishwasher, cleaning countertops, and folding laundry. But all of what she is witnessing is remote controlled by 1X employee in another room using a VR headset. TechRadar calls Neo charming, but says that expert mode is the big catch for complex tasks. They note other robot makers are going to wait to see if Neo stumbles, and then they're going to tailor their adverts around those failures. But social media has been far less enthused. The comments are pretty funny. Neo, vacuum the room. Neo walks to Roomba and presses start. Or, my robot dropping my baby when AWS goes down. One comment sums it up pretty well. People who can afford a $20,000 robot aren't doing their own chores already. And some point out that having a robot clean your toilet and then serve you water raises obvious hygiene questions. Beyond the steep price, commenters question how well Neo cleans given its pressure and water limitations. Then come the sci-fi plots. One Redditor says, if this robot does something shady, get another robot to stab that robot. But ethics is the constant topic. What happens to cleaners, chefs, childcare, and maintenance workers when they're replaced? Plus, 1X's experts are literally training their own replacements. While some find Neo impressive at best, most are not buying it, literally or figuratively. Part 5, the future of home robots. Neo raises essential questions about labor and machine dependency. While it's not quite finished, the what-ifs still matter. If someone cleans your house through a robot, are they a tech worker or a domestic worker? Which minimum wage applies? Where the robot works or where they wear the VR headset? And who's liable when things go wrong? A human cleaner can put out a knocked-over candle. Can Neo? Does someone get fired for Neo's code bugs? If 1X goes bankrupt, does your Neo become a $20,000 paperweight? Even if Neo's price limits it to high earners, that's actually worse. That will replace domestic workers faster than if lower-income households bought them, accelerating inequality and unemployment. While hypothetical concepts are real, every device already records us. Wi-Fi maps our homes, GPS tracks our location. Neo just adds hands. It can move, follow, and access everything. Our children's faces, how we talk to pets, when we're vulnerable, and it's all training data for future AI. Then there's the AI dependency question. If there are already reports of people experiencing negative psychological effects from the use of AI, what happens when chatbots can follow you around and talk like a human and hand you objects? So tell me, would you let Neo into your home? Where's your line? No bedrooms, no kids' rooms, no bathroom? Or would you go full sci-fi and give Neo access to everywhere in the house? Is convenience worth the privacy trade-off? Are we solving problems or creating them? Who writes the rules for the robots in our lives? The companies, the government, or do we just wing it and hope for the best? Look, I'm not telling you if Neo's the future or a privacy nightmare in soft fabric. That's your call, but this conversation is just the beginning. And with that said, we'll see you in the next video.